Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Transformers? Ah yes. Hello. This is the Can We Talk About podcast. Can we talking yet again about things that started as plastic toys in Japan, only become plastic toys in America,
Wow.
only to be promoted with a comic book in America, and then promoted with a miniseries that turns into a series of Might and Metal that just so happens to be, Kristen, actual 80s cartoon classic, The Transformers.
Yeah, you lost me partway through there.
I have a 4,000-mile drill just lying around. My name is Joe.
If you told me there were 10 Constructicons, I might believe you. I'm Kristen.
And we are watching The Transformers Generation 1 via Tubi, free streaming platform. Intermittent commercials. As you know, did it take you a little while to find the core, Kristen?
No, I wised up this time, and I did instead of my normal thing, which is, Joe, what episode am I supposed to watch? And you just telling me. I looked it up myself. And then I Googled Transformers, Tubi, the core. And I got right to the page I was looking for.
Oh, wow, I did not know it was that easy. There you go, all you people out there in TV land. If you...
No more scrolling for Kristen.
And Kristen, among the various streaming platforms that we have available to us, have you been doing anything fun other than watching the Transformers episode The Core?
Well, that wasn't fun, first of all.
No.
But second, me and my roommate have both been playing The Outer Worlds.
Ooh, I never finished The Outer Worlds. I don't know what... I mean, it's fun. It's a fun game.
And it's the same thing where it's ambiently fun the same way to me that Fallout is. Weird how that worked out. And I like the writing, it's very funny. And ever since Madeline has picked up on it a lot more than I have, it's been equally as fun just watching her play it as me playing it. So it's chill. I'm excited for those people to make more games and make bigger, better games.
Yeah, Obsidian's good at that.
Yeah.
And Kristen, I have decided to do a little bit of a blast from the past. It has been a mission of mine to watch Sailor Moon with the original Deke dub for the longest time, because it is not commercially available, I believe.
That would make sense. It is pretty embarrassing.
Now, Sailor Moon is on Hulu, but it has a dub that Viz did in like 5-ish years ago, I want to say.
I feel like I remember hearing something about that, sure.
So it wasn't what I wanted. What I wanted was Sailor Says, Kristen. I wanted rampant censorship. I wanted Zoisite as a woman.
And you got all of those things and more, such as total episodes being cut out, I guess.
Yeah, which I went back and watched those too, because I also had the Japanese version downloaded for the longest time, and then after watching one episode of that, I realized I want to watch the Deke version.
It just doesn't hit the same.
No shade to the Japanese version. I'm sure I'll watch all of that eventually, but...
Oh yeah, you have nothing but time, I'm sure.
So that's essentially what I've been doing. Now, we kind of talked about it a little bit here, Kristen. The Core is the episode that we will be watching today, and this could potentially go down as the most forgettable episode of Transformers the entire season.
I have a gem comparison. Hang on, let me find it. What is this? If it were a gem episode. The closest my brain is getting is Scandal.
Potentially, Scandal's not bad. That at least had a beach that had different
the
settings. The non
sequiturs makes me think of Scandal, like The Boys and the roller rink and stuff like that. And, like a huge drill.
That's the thing. There's memorable stuff in those episodes. In, like, almost every episode of Gem, there's something I remember. In this one, we got a drill.
I wouldn't call it memorable. I still am struggling to remember Sean's full name. Sean...
British teen heartthrob, Sean Harrison.
Yeah, the closest I got was Sean Walker. I don't know what that is.
It's the core. Let's get into it. It's the core.
Ugh.
The core.
Oh, the core.
The core, Kristen.
Not just a core or the core. The core.
Well, I mean, it just so happens that we're talking about the core of the Earth, which makes no appearance in this episode, by the way.
I think we see, it's just below frame at one point. I don't think they knew what it looked like, so they couldn't render it.
Written by Dennis Marks, who wrote a decent amount of stuff, his biggest credit being the Jetsons animated movie, I guess.
Look at this asshole with 2 first names.
Old Mark Dennis over here.
Ugh. Dennis Markey Den.
Marky Den and the Funky Bunch.
I felt like I could feel that connection being made in your head as Mark just came out of my mouth.
We start Kristen in what I assume to be another Decepticon temporary base. It is a cave, so not even necessarily a base. But we got a drill. A drill is the main crux of this.
Uh-huh. I really am not even sure how to start talking about this.
Well, I did note, in my introduction, 4,000 miles, roughly. A little bit more.
Yeah, let's not make any bones about it. They are taking a big-ass drill to drill to the core of the Earth from way up on the crust of the Earth. So that's a pretty big drill.
And you wonder if, like we see the Constructicons play a big part in the episode, they are not building the drill as it goes down deeper. It is just somehow...
doing drill maintenance.
They have a mini space bridge on it, and they have the giant drill on Cybertron, and Shockwave is manually feeding it into the space bridge.
He's wearing greasy overalls. A little drone comes by and wipes the sweat off of his brow with a greasy towel every once in a while.
Kristen, let me tell you, it is really difficult to manually move a drill when one of your hands is a gun hand.
Maybe that's why they start having issues so quickly.
Another problem I have with this episode, Kristen, we start off the Earth starts just fucking breaking. It's a prime problem all over again. We actually see why the Earth is breaking this time, though, and the Constructicons start just trying to seal up these cracks because apparently it's Scavenger's fault. We don't really get into it much more than that.
Yeah, we see them drilling and cracks start to appear, like the crust of the Earth is fracturing, and they're just like, oh shit, ooh, guys, stop what you're doing and let's fix this right now, please.
And almost all the Constructicons have different voices than the last time we've seen them as well. Not even, different voice actors, just, whoever the guy is that does the voice of Scrapper. Scrapper sounds kind of gruff, kind of gravelly from what I remember. Whoa. And in this one, his voice is much higher, and he goes between almost every sentence.
Yeah, two of them sound just like Starscream.
Mixmaster doesn't do the thing anymore where he repeats words, fuck it, whatever.
I didn't remember anyway. Doesn't matter.
So they start trying to fill the cracks here to no avail, and then Mixmaster comes over here, Longhaul complains, as he is wont to do. I guess he is Decepticon Gears.
Wow, what a really specific thing to make me understand what you're talking about. Decepticon Gears.
And Mixmaster then uses, I believe he calls it rubber silicon. So it looks like Dijon mustard.
It looks like honey mustard, you asshole.
Excuse me, he fills the cracks of the Earth with honey mustard.
Yes, that distinction is important to me. Oh my god, I told you before we started recording that I'm hungry, and thinking about honey mustard is making me insane.
Megatron starts shit-talking Scavenger here. Again, apparently he was the one who chose this spot. We do not see what the fuck is wrong with him. He's just like, Mixmaster, take Scavenger to the surface and fix his fucking GPS or something. His geological sensors, whatever. It's a plot thing! So the Autobots can find them.
The rest of the Decepticons are just hanging out, apparently, and they watched all of this, Earth might blow up, stuff go without much concern. Starscream's, sitting at a computer. What's he doing, his taxes?
The cave computer, of course.
Of course.
Starscream is much more concerned about the Earth fucking blowing up with this plan here, and he demonstrates to Megatron that this will not work by grabbing a very detailed piece of rock out of the wall that just so happens to be a sphere.
Uh-huh, he's a drill hand.
He's got a drill hand, which...
When did that get installed?
A lot of characters in this episode, Kristen, just sink their hands into their forearm and then produce something else out of it.
I mean, they're robots. If we can't expect them to do that, what can we expect?
And then, yes, he drills the boulder and it blows up, and Megatron's like, look, I got this.
I'm not 100% sure what kind of point he was trying to make, because I thought the issue was that when you drill into the core of the Earth, eventually, since you're drilling into the core, which is I don't even know if molten is a strong enough word. It's bad down there. It's volatile. It seems like once you hit that, it would probably disrupt the fracture that you put in the Earth. Am I an asshole?
Kristen, whatever happened to that old crystal that went directly to the core of the Earth?
It's neighbors with the tunnel that they made with the drill. They're buddies now. They live in the same apartment. The same apartment called Spaceship Earth.
Megatron goes to the surface here with Starscream, and they do the thing from episode 1 of Gem, where Megatron's like, follow me, and Starscream's like, directly into the rock wall? Okay, dude.
Joe, It's a hologram.
Whoa, and it's hiding a space bridge in it, which, Kristen, why?
Yes?
Why?
What's the problem?
Why can the Decepticons hide a space bridge behind a hologram rock wall here and not closer to their base where it might be useful?
I guess they really think they're going to have to get out of Dodge fast once they get whatever the hell it is from the Earth's core that they want, and they're like, okay, we took our crazy straw, we sucked all of that magma up, and now we gotta run before everything blows the fuck up. So they were like, let's put that close by.
Literally the only reason that this is here is because it's a contingency plan if Megatron accidentally breaks the Earth.
Uh-huh.
That's, like he says, don't worry.
At least he's thinking about it this time.
If I fuck up Earth beyond repair, we could just take the space bridge back and we'll be fine. No more planet. Whatever.
I do like that Starscream does explain to us what a hologram is, too. I just appreciate that little bit of, just in case you haven't watched Gem in the future.
So Megatron's eyes glow and he as he is wont to do. And
the first shot we see of him, he's looking like svelte and tall and skinny. It's weird.
Well, Kristen...
And sassy.
If you'll remember, as we see from Blue Jacket and Not Tiger Beat Chip Chase later...
All right, everyone's off model.
Yeah, this is the episode animated by the people that don't normally do it, so everybody looks a little fucky.
It could have been worse. Because I forgot about that, at least. There have been episodes before where I was like, who are these people? I did do that a little bit in this episode, too.
There's a big problem that we're going to come up to here. So, transition one.
Can't wait.
We get to the Autobots who are out driving here. Jazz is just blowing fucking mud all over Gears' windshield. And Gears, instead of, like, moving out of the way or something, because this is a pretty wide berth that they have here in this drained riverbed.
He's too lazy. That must be it. He'd rather complain.
He did it on purpose, Kristen, so we could have a character moment. Oh, thank you, Gears.
Thank you so much, Gears, for showing your personality. I had no idea that was Gears.
They stop here, this little Autobot scouting squad here, with no normal... Like, Jazz is the most normal Autobot among them, maybe.
I feel like there was a prank being played on me that they dare show me any kind of yellow Autobot. And I'm like, what do you mean that isn't Bumblebee?
No, Kristen, that's Sunstreaker.
I guess so.
Sunstreaker notes, wasn't there a river here before? So, okay, here's the thing. Of the Autobots that are in this caravan here, Jazz, Prowl, Mirage, and Gears, all of them I would consider more responsible than Sunstreaker. And someone has the fucking audacity to go, do you really think there was a river here? Like, as there's puddles all around them and shit. And Sunstreaker's like,
well, I mean, it was a lot of water. I could have misunderstood maybe, but I don't think I did.
So they drive very awkwardly here to find where the river is blocked up. They have to go up an incline and, like, they tilt the cell about 45 degrees so they can drive up the incline here.
Yeah, there's a nice little dirt dam that's diverting the river, which I'm positive is how that works because it, of course, goes into a waterfall. What?
A waterfall that leads directly down into a pool that filters the water to the drill so they can cool the drill, Kristen, of course.
Sounds a little bit needlessly complicated, but, all right, yes, the drill is so big and strong, they gotta keep it cool.
It is not known why Mixmaster and Scavenger needed to go outside to fix Scavenger circuits. Maybe it's too dark in the cave.
The fresh air.
I don't know. But wouldn't you know it, the Autobots notice lime green construction vehicles pretty quickly.
They don't blend in that well. Weird how that worked out.
Lime green and purple, not the best desert camouflage.
Oh no, it's like, where could Pizzazz possibly be in this desert? Oh, she's fucking over there. Acid green.
Wearing her shitty clown outfit.
Yeah, very easy to spot.
So the Autobots all drive over to the cliff here after Mixmaster and Scavenger jump down, and as it happens, they are just not there anymore.
I don't even remember if there's an explanation for this, or to what purpose we are shown this, just for it to be like, there's a base down there somewhere, that's why we can't see them.
I want to assume that they just landed in the pool and got, like, toilet flushed down and nearly died being fed into the drill.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. They shouldn't have put their weird water filtration thing that cools the drill down right next to the hole that you have to jump into to get into the base where the drill is.
Did they not notice, the Autobots here, Kristen, did they not notice that the waterfall, waterfall, and
yes.
then there's a fairly small pool at the bottom, like the entire canyon is not flooded, as a result of this? Did they not? They would go, oh, where did it go? They didn't just go, wait a minute, that water must be going somewhere.
I'm sorry, I got really distracted just now because I realized that pushing up the dirt to divert the river makes this yes-a-damn plan.
Oh, fuck.
I hadn't even realized. That's fantastic.
This is the rare double dam plan and core plan. We see Laserbeak flying overhead here, and he just goes right back to Soundwave, who reports the exact recording of the Autobots noticing the Constructicons.
Hey, there's Constructicons over there. And Megatron's like, you fucking idiots.
So the Constructicons all just form Devastator the first of 4 times, and I think Devastator is formed differently every single time he is formed in this episode.
I liked this first one, and by liked I mean hated, because I think Megatron is like, alright Constructicons, go and form, and they all go, Devastator!
They do, that is
it's
correct.
truly fucking outrageous or something.
They're so excited to become Devastator, Kristen.
I wish I was more interested in them. This episode made me want to be more interested in them, but it didn't do it.
No, it doesn't help when their voices are all fucky, and...
I swear to God, up until a certain point, when, spoilers, Devastator gets a little bit wacky and controlled by the Autobots, that's dubiously ethical. I thought his voice changed because he was nice now and he sounded, posh.
That would have been a lot better. Unfortunately, not the case.
It was Hook.
Hook, I think that's just Hook's normal voice.
I like to think it was just because he was nice now.
Devastator is formed and somehow gets up on the cliff. I don't know if we actually see how he gets up there. I don't remember, but he sneaks up on the Autobots and then picks up
sneaky, like pizzazz.
More boulders up here. Again, the natural lime green camouflage here against the stark blue sky and the beige of the desert.
I almost appreciate that the animation in this episode is fucky enough that the scale of Devastator is actually just kind of funny to me after a while, instead of, making me furious.
It changes all the time.
Yeah, that guy is all sorts of different sizes.
So it's here that I was referring to Prowl as Blue Streak in my notes for a good amount of this, because he was gray, and I know that Blue Streak is gray, but as it turns out, Kristen, ACOM is fucking stupid, and they make Prowl, the police car, gray.
See, okay, I'm not fucking crazy then. There was a point where I was looking at Prowl, and I could tell it was a police car.
He's got the light bar!
Yes, but I was like, that's not the right color. Who are you?
The Autobots need to call Optimus here, and that gets broken up as Devastator throws this boulder at them and knocks over everybody except Mirage, which I feel like they make a big deal about there not being these big crash landings, but the 4 Autobots here that all land on top of each other are no worse for wear after falling off this cliff.
They're fine. There is an interesting thing that happens where Mirage then gets booted off the cliff, right?
Yes.
And then he grabs onto a cartoon branch. I say that as if this isn't a fucking cartoon. And he has a weird thing where it's like he accepts his death or something.
He says that he may shatter into a million pieces, but the Decepticons will never find them. Which, I could buy that Mirage is a bit more of a glass cannon, per se, sort of, maybe. His power makes him, you have to have a drawback to it, so if he had the normal durability of the Autobots, exactly, then it's not fair that he can turn invisible, so...
I do appreciate, I wanted to point out for your sake as well, when I said that he is accepting his death before getting out of there. You have that written in your notes, and I did not read that. Was just my exact read of the situation, too.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the same page as me.
Yep.
So, Devastator jumps down from the cliff to kick some more Autobot ass here, and we get transition 2. Now, Kristen, it did not occur to me at the time, with what happens here. Starscream walks over and there are some Constructicons hanging out, and Starscream just basically goes, hey, back to work! Get to fucking drilling, buddy!
Joe, this made me really angry! Were they supposed to be the other jets and they colored them wrong?
No, they are very clearly Constructicon models, Kristen.
I know. That is, Joe, here I am right now. 2020, how many episodes into Transformers are we? 29?
Thereabouts.
I do not know how many Constructicons there are. My guess is 5 or 6?
There are 6. So the Constructicons are the only team of combiners that are 6. The rest are 5, like in normal Sentai fashion.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't even say because Transformers did the 5-piece combiner before Sentai did amazingly. But
wow. But yeah, there's a point where it shows all the Constructicons driving later, and I don't know if it's just because I was overwhelmed by the sight of 6 different cars, having not expected those. But I was very like, how many? What? That looked like 10. So that explains to me who these extra guys are.
I think this is a fairly common thing with ACOM as well, where to just fill out background shots, they will just take whatever models are available, which will end up, there are several instances of characters that die in the movie just showing up in background shots in Season 3 because Kristen, ACOM does, I believe, all of Season 3, and I think I told you this already.
That's rough. No, Joe, those are called ghosts.
There are some footprints that we see. Obviously, you got to know that Mirage is walking around, and he sees the drill and the Constructicons and does not think twice that there are extra Constructicons that are not being formed into Devastator, but don't worry about it.
It's fine. He is like, okay, I gotta relay this whole drill plan thing to my buds. And he does that pretty fast.
Yeah, there's a transition, and then the Autobots are still dealing with Devastator here, but Mirage appears, and just, I guess off the top of his head, here his hand goes into his forearm, and a grappling hook or something shows up, and they do the old AT-AT thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna call it too. From my first connection that I made in my brain was like, oh my god, like from that Star Wars video game. Not even the movie, the video game is what I thought of. I don't remember which one either.
That would be a Rogue Squadron 3 Rogue Leader, I believe, or no, Rogue Leaders 2? Rebel Strike is 3.
I remember seeing AT-AT things before I knew anything about Star Wars.
We had a demo disc, I think it came with Mario Kart Double Dash, that had that first mission from Rebel Strike on it.
Oh, we had Splinter Cell on that too, right?
That was a different demo disc.
That was the Billy Hatcher one.
Yes, I think one of them had Sonic Heroes. I want to say that was Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yikes.
But we had 2 separate demo discs that I played the shit out of. Splinter Cell mostly, because I never ended up actually playing Splinter Cell beyond that, but that first mission in Splinter Cell was always... Because, Kristen, I was amazed that you could do shit so many different ways.
I know.
In so many different styles, and I never even fucking played Metal Gear yet.
Yeah, and then it turns out you like Metal Gear, so if you went back and played Splinter Cell games, you might like those.
That was me realizing, why the fuck do I need to play Splinter Cell when I can just play Metal Gear?
I've heard some of those games were okay, but there are 10,000 of them, so I couldn't tell you which are which.
So they do the AT-AT thing here. Sunstreaker and Mirage.
Let's actually describe what that is.
The AT-AT thing being they use this like tow line or cable or whatever the fuck to wrap around Devastator's feeties and knock him over, which Devastator gets knocked, like falls over on his chest like 8 times in this episode.
I wonder if his titties hurt.
Also, in order to distract him, Jazz is told to dazzle Devastator with a light show, and we get I think, Kristen, I should just keep a running tally at this point of episodes with radial lines in them, because this is probably, like, with Trailbreaker and Jazz and various Decepticon plots and things like that, there's probably been radial lines in every single episode.
I've been keeping an eye out for things a little bit better more recently, because for my quarantine group where we are watching Riverdale, I also solely organize us playing Riverdale Bingo. When we're playing, so I just take down a bunch of things that could possibly happen during an episode that are broad enough and happen often enough that you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be here. That radial line feels like a big Transformers bingo for me.
We get another transition here. We are back to the arc. Optimus explains
just because it's been a little bit.
Optimus explains that Teletran told him, Kristen, not that he figured out on his own or whatever, but Teletran told him that if the Decepticons keep drilling into the earth, it will fucking break, it'll shatter, it'll be like a Christmas tree ornament hitting a wooden floor.
And then you step on a piece of that Christmas ornament, and it hurts!
Oh, the old glass foot.
I've stepped on glass a lot. I feel like I talked about this when we did Die Hard. I have a very bad habit in the past, I would say maybe 10 years of I've stepped on a shitload of glass. I'm surprised I still have feet.
Prowl says that they can't do much to Devastator here, but Kristen, in comes Super Genius Bashonen Chip Chase.
With his slightly different, darker hair and a jacket that I don't recognize.
And he says, well, me and Wheeljack got an idea that's morally questionable. Do you want to hear it?
Ooh, yes, I do want to hear about it, Chip Chase. Oh my god, he made his own control chip!
Kristen, Chip has Dominator discs that he and Wheeljack have developed, I guess.
Who named those? Was it Chip or Wheeljack?
Probably, I would assume Wheeljack.
He does love naming things.
These discs will bring Devastator under their control. They just need to put it on every one of them.
All the Constructicons. So they got
the
6 of them. Look at me knowing numbers now.
Yes, and Optimus is pretty on board with the total enslavement of the big mindless monster that the Decepticons have.
I maybe would have given this a pass if at any point besides the very fucking end of the episode anyone was like, okay, so now that we got Devastator here, now what? Not once! Never does that come up. I felt really bad for Devastator in this episode. He's just getting his shit jerked around everywhere.
Now, I assumed as well that these discs only worked on Devastator because Devastator has not a simple mind necessarily, but a 6 consciousnesses at once trying to work together, which means that it's probably easy if these Dominator discs have like something where they can all kind of focus or whatever.
Sure.
Not the case, because Devastator... I mean, we only see Hook outside of Devastator in the
Yes.
Autobot base, but the Dominator discs work enough for at least each individual Constructicon as well to still be under Autobot control and have...
They're in their drugged up haze, not knowing what's going on, but being like, yes, I can keep fixing things. Yes, Optimus Prime, that's weird. Did that always work for you?
Because when we see Hook later, he gloats and shit, and it's not just like, he's not just like, yes, I can fix, like you're saying. No, he's Hook. He's doing Hook things.
He's just hanging out with different people. Maybe it made them stupider.
Chip also isn't sure that it'll work, but I mean, that just might be because it's a Wheeljack invention.
Who can say, really? Doesn't matter.
Transition 5, the Autobots have formed a commando team.
Cool.
Now, Kristen, all right, here we go. Who among Optimus, Ironhide, Sunstreaker, Jazz, Prowl...
Oh no, what are you asking me?
...and Mirage have the worst commando name? I believe Sunstreaker is the Firebird of this bunch.
Yeah, it's not great. I just got really distracted because I remembered at this point... So, we have Ironhide, we mentioned here, and he does a thing that I'm not entirely sure he can do. What was the icy thing? What is that, Joe?
He does... Kristen, if you remember in... Oh, God, what episode was it? Where he froze the quicksand.
Find it. Is that like his hydrogen thing? He is basically just like a fire extinguisher in his arm, and it just turns stuff into ice.
I guess, which is weird because next episode we have a fire truck transformer.
Ouch. That is not a great performance review for Ironhide.
This might be the last episode. Sorry, buddy, you're only shooting sticky goo from your hands now.
The thing I noticed is that Ironhide wordlessly complies with his orders. I don't think I heard him say a single thing this episode. And that's creepy.
Ironhide normally has like a more aged kind of face too, but he just kind of looks like a dude.
Who is this young man?
Which also made it kind of weird, but at least Optimus does refer to Ironhide by name.
Yes. If he didn't, I might not have known it was him. But yeah, I usually expect him to say something or another.
The Autobots do a thing here. I believe it's Sunstreaker, Jazz, and Wheeljack, who Wheeljack is the only one that actually has these. Use some wrist rockets to jump down from the cliff where they were before. And
yeah, they're doing they're doing a sneaking mission, which of course involves jumping down from a cliff. One of them takes the grappling hook and rides it off of someone else to get down a little bit more covertly. And then one of them just fucking jumps like he's not a huge robot hitting a rock going...
So, here's where I was saying about Mirage before, because Jazz is the one who... Okay, so Jazz also has a grappling hook hand, by the way. Him and Mirage both have them this episode. They're grappling hook buddies.
Okay, I thought you were saying that they've always had that, and I was like, okay.
No.
I guess that makes sense. God, you fucking got me, and you didn't even mean to.
Jazz might have once before. I want to say in More Than Meets the Eye, he had a grappling hook hand.
Okay.
But he shoots that up at the cliff, and then Mirage takes it down because, again, I guess Mirage can't just jump down. Devastator jumps down. He's fine.
Weak ankles.
And Ironhide and Optimus don't even... I don't know. It's... Whatever. Fuck it. So, essentially...
Everyone does their little whoop and gets down, and they start to do their plan.
The plan here is freeze the waterfall because they know that there is water being fed to this drill. Once the waterfall is frozen, which freezes all water on the planet, of course.
And kills all those fish. And they leave it like that.
The Decepticons start, like, leaving. Not even... Actually, no. Just the Constructicons leave. Where the fuck are the rest of the Decepticons during this?
They're sleeping. Duh.
All the Constructicons leave, and each of the Autobots has either one or two of these Dominator discs that they somehow very covertly place on
some very
these dudes
sneaky
here.
shit, not at all obvious.
Well, okay, so...
They're all just hiding in pits and behind rocks, like they're putting kick me signs on their backs.
Sunstreaker is lemon-ass yellow, and he's hiding in a pit, and somehow a Bone Crusher or whoever it is that drives over him does not notice this very yellow robot in the hole.
Good thing he doesn't have eyes on his ass then, isn't it?
But whatever. The only other thing of note here is that Jazz does a super cool bank off of the wall to get his onto Scavenger, I think.
I really, truly thought that he was going to miss, and that was going to be, like, a setup for something. Also, this was the part where I didn't know how many Constructicons there were, so as they just kept putting more and more things on, I'm like, stop, that's enough!
So Optimus is still up on the cliff here, and he lowers a weird, like, cage elevator from his trailer, and all the Autobots get in. So, finally, halfway through the episode, segment 1, it's time for segment 1 to end, thank fuck. Because Starscream, not even with a null ray, I don't think. He has
like
some
a sniper rifle.
He has some sort of scoped rifle, and is just like, oh cool, Autobots, it's easier than shooting ducks in a barrel. Except he adds in beryllium barrel and dynametal ducks and all that shit.
And doesn't he say, and the ducks are dead?
That is how segment 1 ends. He just goes, and I do mean dead ducks!
That's not how that works, dude. Also, it's not ducks in a barrel, it's fish in a barrel. It's sitting ducks.
The ducks will drown, probably. I think ducks need to breathe.
The ducks shouldn't be in a barrel. That much is true. So I guess he's not technically wrong.
Segment 2 starts here.
Starscream just learned what an uncle is, and now he knows what a duck is. God, he won't shut up about either of them.
Starscream should have taken the shot. He does more like, it's time for me to kill all of you, and then
Megatron slaps him.
Just lowers the gun slowly and is like, no, don't shoot them.
Let
Kristen,
them go.
What is Starscream's reaction to this?
He's like, what? Megatron, you traitor!
I'm sorry. The leader of the enemy force is a traitor. Who knew?
Ace Sphincter says what?
And Megatron with his Saturday morning cartoon ass. I'm so sick of this shit, Kristen.
I am too. This is not making me like Megatron anymore.
Why destroy 6 Autobots when you can eliminate them all? Get rid of a few of them at least.
Just do some of it now.
Did Megatron not notice that among these Autobots are the very high-ranking members, Prowl, Jazz, Ironhide, and Optimus Prime?
Maybe he really just doesn't want to give the chase up, so anytime it's like, it comes to, okay, we can finish this right now, he's like, don't, actually, and I will tell you exactly why, because we can just kill all of them at once later. Duh.
And Kristen, like, I feel like I asked this question once before, I'm pretty sure, of just, like, all of the important Autobots are in one place. Who the fuck is going to lead them if Optimus Prime, Jazz, Prowl, and Ironhide all die?
Knowing his penchant for inspirational speeches, I would say Spike. I'm not saying it's a good idea, I'm saying he would try it.
Autobot Spike Part 2. So, all the Decepticons gather here. Starscream wants to know Megatron's plan. Because somehow Megatron knows that they are going to take control of Devastator.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't miss anything, because I was like, and you figured that out when, my good bitch?
In due time, Megatron will reveal his plan to Starscream, which is incredibly fucking stupid, because, I mean, Starscream says it all later when we get there, but essentially, somehow, the Decepticons all head the Autobots off at the pass, and they start a fight here.
Wait, sorry, and just wanted to point out again, River's still frozen. All
River's still
fish
frozen.
Fucking dead. There's probably some dead ducks in there, too.
Oh, no. At least they're not in barrels.
That's true.
There's a robot fight here. And Devastator is formed fairly quickly into this battle, and then Chip has been hanging out inside Wheeljack throughout all of this, but not entirely all the time, because Wheeljack was transformed at one point. Whatever.
No, he was driving Wheeljack. He was in the cockpit.
And when Chip goes to activate the discs, Wheeljack says that his digital units are crossed. Gross.
He says all of his toes crossed. Gross.
Devastator does actually, like, they don't do this immediately either, so Devastator, like, kicks over some of the Autobots and picks up Optimus and starts squeezing them. But that's...
He's looking like fucking King Kong out here.
Weird that City of Steel was the other ACOM episode. Very Devastator heavy.
Maybe they just think that he's big enough to climb the Empire State Building.
Devastator is under Autobot control. Yes, Optimus Prime, I obey.
Very ethical.
Very
I
ethical.
see no problems with this at all.
The Decepticons retreat immediately, and Devastator, like, caves in the cave.
He also, when he first gets taken control of, he, like, kicks Thundercracker and he goes spinning out. That poor guy doesn't have anything to say this episode.
Also, Chip celebrates hanging out the window of a car that clearly is not Wheeljack as well. It has a red roof. And Kristen, showing that both faction leaders, are complete dumb shits.
Right, so now at this point, the Decepticons went back into their temporary cave base, and we did our favorite season 1 trick of crumbling the rocks at the entrance of the cave to close the cave up.
To trap them. And Ironhide is like, okay, let's get in there and kick their ass. And Optimus goes, no! They do not have access to water. They are trapped.
Joe, I thought he was saying they would die of thirst. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
That is way more cruel, Optimus. What the fuck?
And that also fucking confusing was my problem.
They can't cool the drill, basically.
Yes, that's what he means. He doesn't phrase it that way at first.
No. And they just leave. They do
Optimus says that they're gonna mop up later. What the fuck?
That our work here is done, even though we didn't do everything that we needed to do.
Anyway, let's go try out our new slaves.
Transition 6 here. Back in the cave, Starscream speaks for the audience when he's like, what the fuck was that?
He says, your strategy eludes me.
And Megatron goes, well, I couldn't tell you because you're actually a very bad actor. But I have a very special thing that can override these Dominator. I just have this, that the Dominator just don't work anymore, and Devastator will be ours.
Megatron said that he wanted the Autobots to believe that they had control over Devastator. Like, they sure do believe that because they fucking do. Like,
because they do, yes.
I thought he was going to be like, I somehow did a swish-em-ups, and Devastator just wanted to kick the shit out of Thundercracker.
And Kristen... So the plan is Devastator is led back to the base, and...
The plan is get Devastator back and attack as planned.
And kill all the Autobots when they're all together, I guess. And he doesn't.
No. We just wait until they all meet up for another big robot fight, and then Devastator just switches sides again until he becomes absolutely insane.
The way that Megatron goes about this is so fucking wrong, because he's just like, luckily, I have a water reserve, so we could just start drilling again, and not just, let's sit here for a bit, wait to get back to the Autobot base, and then I will turn Devastator back to our side, and he will kill all of the Autobots.
Okay, my only criticism of that is I am led to believe, by the proximity by which these things are happening, they need to be within, like, sight line, a certain yard's distance of Devastator in order to scramble him up. It's not, like, a totally remote thing.
Kristen, if this plan goes exactly as Megatron wants it, and Devastator, like, when he is with the Autobots later, kills them, he would have killed the exact same number of Autobots that he prevented Starscream from shooting!
What? No! No, that's ridiculous. Just forget that. That's not true. Don't even say that.
This plan sucks!
No, I think you're giving him a hard time.
Starscream also doesn't want to start drilling again, but then, just so we, I guess, let the audience know, there is the emergency exit space bridge, and Starscream goes, you've thought of everything, Megatron, and there's no hint of sarcasm in it. There's no hint! I don't hear it!
I still am really, really obsessed with this idea that they had reserve water somehow.
It's just that he's got
How does that work? They just had a bunch of Dasani.
Nobody wanted to buy this.
So I guess, yeah, Skywarp is just up there. No, Laserbeak has a bunch of water bottles in his claws. And he's just dumping them over top.
So the Earth, once they start drilling again, immediately crumbling and a tumbling, rumbling and a stumbling, and all that good shit as we get Transition 7 here. Back at the Autobot base, Hook, independently of the rest of the Constructicons.
Sound a little bit like a fancy lad again. Apparently is what he sounds like. I just thought it was fun.
Fixes up Jazz. Something was going on with Jazz, and he fixed him up here, and everyone's impressed. And Hook takes the moment to gloat that he says that he is, super precise and shit. And
so is his hook like a cauterizing, a welding thing? Or was he just kind of poking?
He uses it to move a lever earlier in the episode, so it's multi-purpose, Kristen.
I guess so. Very advanced. No wonder he has so much to brag about.
So, here's the earthquake. The Earth is a quaking and a shaking and all that shit that I was just saying. And to
weird.
note,
I
Kristen,
think maybe the Decepticons are up to something.
To note, Chip gets thrown from his wheelchair.
Rude.
Bastards.
Optimus does pick him up.
He's nice enough to pick Chip up here as he comments, the Decepticons have somehow been able to resume drilling. Why didn't you fucking kill them, you goof, you stupid ass?
Somehow it's almost like you locked them in the place with the fucking drill.
Kristen, the body of... Alright, no. Okay, no, I can't just say this casually. This is my least favorite part of the episode.
I didn't mind it.
The body of Devastator is just standing there as Hook goes back over, and it picks Hook up, and Hook transforms specifically into Devastator's head, which is not what Hook does!
He's not the head. He's a temporary backup head. You know how Decepticons are so fond of temporary contingencies? Someone else felt like being an arm.
Hook is like the pectoral region and the shoulders!
It's fine.
It sucks.
I didn't know that he wasn't the head, so I just saw a decapitated Devastator get his head back, and that was pretty fun for me.
So the Decepticons can see through Devastator's eyes, which the cave computer is just hooked up like this.
Yep.
And here would have been the opportunity where I would have, to sow confusion, Kristen, hit the thing, the electromagnetic suppressor, whatever the fuck that Megatron has.
I still choose to believe that they didn't have that option until they were closer to him. Because otherwise you're right and fuck this show.
Jesus. Whatever. I think I miscounted my transitions here. I think this is transition 8. Whatever. We get right back. Devastator blows up the cavern wall. Again, we seal the cave and then we open it up again.
Yeah, our favorite. The only thing that we miss is sealing it again.
Optimus brought Chip. Again, I mean, maybe because he knows how the Dominator... Because they made the controller thing is Chip Chase sized for some reason.
Yes.
And not Wheeljack sized.
He's kind of like booping around on it a little bit like it's a fight stick or something. I'm not sure what he thinks he's doing.
Alright, so Wheeljack commands Devastator to destroy the drill. But here comes Megatron. He gets control back of Devastator, who, again, falls forward flat on his face, making his titties hurt. And...
he's like, no, you work for me. And Devastator's like, oh, shit, that's right. Yes, I do. Anyway...
I am a Decepticon again, which begs the question, was Devastator of mind that he was being controlled by the Autobots during the Dominator Disc era here?
Was this mental torture?
Devastator starts attacking the Autobots. Chip rolls the fuck out of there. He's just like, nope.
Later.
Narrowly avoids the ceiling caving in on him. And segment 2 ends with Megatron gloating and pwah. And
this is when the episode started to feel like it was 10 hours long to me.
I'm going to be honest, Kristen. I was like, oh my god, they spend the rest of this fucking episode in the cave when I was rewatching it. Because I was just like, god, the rest of this is... what the fuck? What are they going to do?
We are starting segment 3 and we're not even to the point where very soon it turns out an alliance is going to be formed. We're just going to do that really quick before we wrap things up.
Segment 3 starts. Megatron is no longer interested in killing the Autobots by himself. He commands Devastator to do it. And the Earth starts shaking, like, more than it was before, I guess.
Oh no, even more.
And Optimus notes that the drill must be close to the center of the Earth.
If it's even deeper, why would that make the surface shake more?
Do you think it's like light, Kristen, where quakes travel?
I don't think so, but I don't know enough on the subject to say confidently.
Wheeljack seems very interested in getting Devastator back after Sunstreaker rescues Chip from almost getting a bunch of fucking ceiling dropped on him again. But the rest of this episode seems to hinge on Devastator. Devastator's the only one that can get us out of this cave. Devastator's the only one that could break the drill.
We need the big boy. If only Skyfire was around.
Kristen, is this episode so bad that you are yearning for Skyfire showing
No, that
up?
was a joke.
Okay, good.
You fucking assholes.
Wheeljack tries just slamming a bunch of buttons to get Devastator back under their control, but Chip is like, no, don't. You're gonna fuck up his circuits. And guess what? He fucks up his circuits.
Yeah, so Devastator's brain just breaks, and he goes into what was it, Autobot X? sort of rampage, where he's just like, fuck all of you.
A big old Buster Bluth, I am a monster ring, just waving his arms around, knocking shit over, and...
sweeping things off of tables. Oh, why, Lisa?
And Starscream's like, no, you're one of us now, stop!
Starscream gets thrown around a lot in this episode, and I do like that.
Megatron runs over, because this is an issue for him now, that the Earth is crumbling apart, and at this point, Kristen, they are just cutting their losses. Megatron's like, we gotta get to the space bridge. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Forget this.
Starscream does make sure to, put in a little jab here, like, your plans suck. This is stupid. But let's get to the space bridge. Now, Devastator sees them taking an elevator up to, to get to the space bridge. And Devastator then just straight up, raises his arms and starts flying through the earth, Kristen!
Yep, he does that a couple of times, in both directions, and I'm a pretty big fan of that stupidity.
And wouldn't you know it, Kristen, the area where Devastator was flying up was directly under the space bridge, and his surfacing knocks Megatron back onto his ass, which also knocks over the control panel for the space bridge.
So they're like, oh, well, shit. Somehow all the Autobots followed Devastator up the hole he made. That's also interesting.
So yeah, essentially, Kristen, the Autobots and the Decepticons need to band together because Optimus has a plan, which is to use both Megatron's nullifier and the Dominator discs, the Devastator discs, whatever the fuck they're called.
Wheeljack and Optimus are both, super ready to make this Dream Team thing happen.
And Starscream is not about it. He thinks it's a trap, Kristen, even though they're all seconds from death.
My maybe favorite part of the episode was when he's like, actually, fuck this, and he runs to Devastator and tries to be like, Devastator, help! Devastator turns around and fucking knocks his shit out.
He does get knocked back into a boulder, which splits. Yes.
Again, I like watching Starscream get slapped around. It was not enough to save this episode.
Even though they are very near the death of the Earth, Megatron does a bad guy speech to Wheeljack, like, I only do this for the benefit of my Decepticons. And Wheeljack should have just been like, can you give me the shit already? Let's do this.
Just hand it over, I have stuff to do. Oh my god, I totally forgot about a transition from earlier that I was just thinking of now, where they show the waterfall, and then the frame flips on its head, and then it shows the drill, and I was like, wow, we're fancy suddenly. Just thought I would bring that up.
So they get it all together here. It works. Devastator gets back under control. He also, Laserbeak is flying around.
We gotta wrap up the episode.
And he also accidentally punches himself in the chest somehow and falls over again.
Aww.
And all the Constructicons fall into their normal pieces, and they go, oh, what hit me? And Megatron is just like, we do not have time. You need to break the drill.
The episode's almost over. You need to go now. Oh, also, the Earth might explode, so go stop that drill.
There is still 2 minutes, and the Constructicons are ordered to transform and turn into Devastator, and they all, Kristen, come together in a circle here. And for some reason, they have this weird, heroic moment where Scavenger's like, guys, if we don't make it, I just want to tell you that you are the best team. And it's like, dude, come on!
I thought that was going to be some kind of gag where it was just Scavenger, and everyone's like, shut the fuck up, we gotta do this. But then one of the other ones is like, hey, you don't need to say that yet. And then they, huddle and kiss or something.
And Devastator dives down the hole, Kristen.
So, he started drilling his own Devastator hole next to the drill hole. They show it on the computer. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I was going to say, I noticed that the second time around, the cave computer has a diagram of where Devastator is compared to the drill, and it is so fucking fast. Just move. This dude is booking it down to the center of the earth here. And why could they not break the drill at the base, is my question.
See, I was even going to say, why couldn't they have broken the drill, somewhere in the middle? Even that would have been cool.
Not even Devastator needs to get in front of the drill to stop it.
No, he just needs to, stick a hand in it and make it stop spinning.
Optimus, we get to 10 seconds until this drill drills into the core of the Earth and the Earth dies and whatever. And then immediately afterward, after we see a little bit of Devastator, Megatron says 1 second, and then Megatron runs out of the room after this, too.
He's like, well, it was nice knowing you.
Devastator manages to catch the drill at and not get drilled himself, not get immediately fucking punctured and killed.
No, yeah, he's fine.
And the drill ends up breaking at the base. Weird.
Huh. Crazy. Maybe they all thought that's what Devastator was going to do, so when he started digging down, they were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop!
And the Decepticons all fly away here. So, for the third time, Kristen, Chip had to be protected from falling rocks in this cave. Don't bring the kid!
Seriously.
Come on!
Or at least, give his wheelchair, a pram on top of it made of metal so he's safe from debris.
A little awning.
Yeah! It's just like a little convenience store.
The drill has stopped. Devastator pops out of the ground, and Devastator looks around and goes, okay, Autobots, what did you do with Megatron? And Chip goes, look, he saved his own ass. He's out of here. He's trying to do the hey, he doesn't care about you.
He left you to die. Because, okay, let's also be clear about this. After the drill was broken, there was a pretty huge explosion from the core of the Earth, and Devastator just pops up like, well, I'm done with that.
Devastator, instead of like having a moment of, I mean, he is a big dumbass, so he can't have a moment of reflection, and he just goes, no, Megatron ran away, strategic retreat, because he could fight Autobots later.
You haven't seen the last of him. We're gonna avenge him. He's not dead. Bye!
Chip is a little sad here, and Optimus gets down on a dad knee. He just one hand on the shoulder and is just
champ.
like, Chip, what's wrong?
What is wrong, Joe?
Well, I was hoping the Devastator would be coming on our side after we enslaved him, but I guess that's just a big old dumb dream.
One of my dumb slavery dreams I've always had. And then Optimus says, hang on to your dreams, Chip. The future is built on dreams.
Chip Chase, enslaving humanity.
That's the dream. The episode's over. Oh my god.
The episode's over. That's the quote. Kristen, as you could tell, not a fan of this one.
I wasn't a huge fan of this one either. Upon recapping it, the whole slavery thing is kind of funny. That's something I can't say in many contexts. It's cool to see Chip. Wish he was sassier Chip that we're used to. But you know what? I'm happy to see him again. Mirage was here. That was pretty cool. That's really all I have to say about any of it.
I think Bumblebee had no lines, so I was cool with it. Or he may have had one line. I don't remember.
I don't remember even seeing him a single time.
Characters that I don't like didn't speak that much. And characters I did like.
And Wheeljack got to do some stuff.
Hey, any episode where Wheeljack gets to do some stuff, I think, is automatically at least in the positive column.
Yeah. I am now thinking about how Jazz had weird light powers that we only barely talked about.
Some good stuff happened, but overall, this was as close to, like, I don't want to say even low impact, because the fucking Earth was going to break, which that's pretty high stakes, but I feel like I wasn't enthralled, I wasn't gripped. I didn't like it.
I eventually have to hit, like, a bottom if I keep lowering my expectations for these episodes to hope that they're better than I think they'll be. What's that gonna be like? Is that hell?
Well, Kristen, the good news is that Dinobot Island is coming. That is when we get all the new characters. I don't know if that's going to help, really, like all the...
At least maybe I'll be confused enough that it'll go by faster.
We have opportunities for more varied stories, I think, is what I'm hoping is...
You sound super confident about it.
I don't know, Kristen.
This was your idea, so...
I'm so fucking
eat
tired
your
of
fucking cake.
Shitty Megatron plans. Now's the point in the evening where I'll list off all of the fun contact things where you could find us. You could follow us on the Twitter machine at cwtapod. You can follow me at Octopus, which is AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at Marina Kazam.
You can find us on the Apple Podcasts, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio, on the YouTube even. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You can also drop us a line at cwtapod@gmail.com where you can tell us all about how to properly drill to the center of the Earth without fucking everything up, and how best to handle the tricky topic of enslaving your enemies and having them fight for you without much in the way of consent.
Yeah, that is a tricky one, isn't it? Really quick, speaking of YouTube, we've been getting some comments on our gem episodes recently. So it's just nice to see people are still enjoying those.
Good. It's in gemming them, Kristen.
If my microphone wasn't important, I would have punched it just now. And check out my solo podcast side project, ASMR Relationships, the podcast equivalent of listening to gossip that has nothing to do with you. You can find a link to it in the episode notes. Follow it on Twitter at Reddit Gossip. Give it a listen.
Next time, Kristen, we have the Insecticon Syndrome, which is an episode that I actually watched yesterday, and I found it quite entertaining, but I like the Insecticons a lot more than you do.
Oh, you mean I don't like them at all?
Very true.
Yeah.
For the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I'm Kristen.
And join us next time for Syndromes of an Insecticon variety.
So you know, like the locust plague? It's like that, but with Insecticons. And it's in the fucking mail.
Oh, God. Locust in my envelope.
There you go. Whoa, I love that band.